Hi, I'm your host, Robert J.E. Simpson. This is the Banterflix movie review show, and coming up on tonight's programme... So we'll be reviewing Predator Badlands, which is out in cinemas. We'll showcase the gala screening of Saipan at the closing night of this year's Belfast Film Festival. Our pick of the streams is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein on Netflix. And we'll wrap up with our physical media of the week, Dark City, ahead of its re-release later this month. Joining me on the show this week is Anita Jurkovic.
Hello.
And James Oliver.
Hi.
How are we feeling about our film choices for tonight?
Well, it's 2-1, so...
2-1 for you, okay.
Yeah.
James?
Yeah, I'd say 2-1 as well.
I think if I'm being honest, it's probably 2-1 for me as well. So let's see if we all unite on which one is the one. So first up, some movie news, and I'm sure you're very aware that on the 5th of December, globally, Quentin Tarantino's fourth film, Kill Bill, is getting a re-release as one big picture. Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair.
And we're talking the whole shebang.
Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. Do you care?
Of course I do.
Of course.
Of course.
You're a Tarantino fan?
I am a big Tarantino fan, and again, for the people out there, because people try to fight me, Kill Bill is a feminist movie.
Oh, okay. It's a feminist movie.
It's a feminist movie.
And that's the reason to go and see it?
No, it's also a good movie, but I love it because of the feminist theme. You know, a mother goes for revenge against her oppressors, and it's just beautiful.
What about you, James? You excited, enthralled? Will you be at the cinema on the night of release?
Of course, like anything that's mashed into like a 4-hour film, I'm there. People who complain about long cinema times, personally, I don't understand it. If it's a good story, cohesive, it doesn't drag out in any parts.
I mean, I can see potential drawbacks. I was at a particular cinema in Belfast earlier on today, and I did note that they only validate your car parking for 4 hours, and this film is in excess of 4.5 hours. That strikes me as being a potential problem if you're going to go and watch this film.
Go by foot.
Go by foot. I have to say, look, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the film when it was on, all those years ago. I haven't revisited it since, but I've rewatched the trailer there, and I have to say, I'm enthused enough to go and see it again. Tarantino's films always, I think, offer something. I don't always like what he does with his films. I'm not always the biggest Tarantino fan, but I think that his films are interesting and at least stylishly beautiful. Also in news this week, I don't know how excited you are about this, but there is a Michael Jackson biopic out next year, starring his nephew, Jaafar. And the trailers dropped for this in the last couple of days. Has had amazing number of hits on social medias, and I think we should probably have a look at that.
Q, can you lower the lights for me, please?
Okay, but remember, in here, keep those feet still, my man.
So Michael, out at some point next year, starring Jaafar Jackson as Michael Jackson, also includes people like Miles Teller. Will you be going to see it? Is this a film that should have been touched? James, I'm going to go for you first.
I mean, maybe should have been brought out about 10 years ago, so it's about 10 years too late. Michael Jackson's always going to be relevant, kind of pop, all that, but, you know, a film based on him, it's like, I no harm. Those sort of music biopics, I don't like. Bohemian Rhapsody, absolutely hated it. Rami Malek was awful. And yes, I said that on live TV. Come after me. The only one I did like was Rocket Man. Absolutely loved Rocket Man.
Okay.
Thought Taron Egerton was fantastic. But this, I'm just sort of like, we know the, you know what I mean? We know the story. I don't really need to see it.
Do we?
What are your thoughts, Anita?
Well, I will definitely moonwalk into the cinema. I will not walk, I will moonwalk into the cinema. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. So since I watched the trailer, I've been just listening to all of his albums again. They're on my Spotify, and yeah, definitely will go and watch it.
The trailer, I have to say, looks pretty darn good. I think the likeness is obviously very apt. Picking his nephew to play him seems like a smart choice. I suspect that this film is going to kind of deal more with his early stuff, the kind of less controversial period, and that whole fascinating but chaotic later life will be sort of papered over. So yeah, it's not top of my list. If I can find another biopic to watch next year, I happily will do that instead. Okay, let's get into the proper reviews now, because we've talked enough about stuff that we can't even watch right now. Let's talk about something that we have seen. Let's go for Predator Badlands, which I suspect might be our one. This is stars Elle Fanning and Demetrius Schuster-Kulamattangi. It's set in the future on a remote planet where a young predator, outcast from his clan, finds an ally in Thea, played by Elle Fanning, and embarks on a treacherous journey in search of the ultimate adversary.
Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey.
Well, there's Predator Badlands. I can't even hide my disdain for this film, but please, somebody help me out here. Did you like it, Anita?
No, not at all. I'm sorry. That's my one as well that I didn't like for this.
Do you like Predator films generally? I mean, not films about predators, because I suspect that you quite like those, because you were saying you like Kill Bill, and she's definitely a predator.
No, I thought the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger was really good, but not my only issue, but the biggest issue with this movie is, again, the ratings. It's like it needed to be a hard R. It needed to. It's too wishy-washy, but I kind of want to see, because it was. I kind of want to see his mom. I kind of want to see a female predator. How do they look like? You know, I didn't even know that they have females in there.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah. I mean, I was always curious how they reproduce and everything. But anyway, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm sorry for everyone to disappoint. It could have been better. No, I didn't like it at all.
So the only hope for the Predator franchise in your eyes is if we can see how they reproduce.
Maybe.
Fair. James, are you interested in the Yatutsa's reproductive capabilities?
Don't really care about that, but as for the film, superb.
Superb.
Dan Trachtenberg understands this universe. He gets it, and I want to see him just keep a hold of this franchise for eternity. So you had Prey, which was directed by him as well. Fantastic. It's a shame it never got the big screen release. And so he finally gets his chance to put a Predator film on the big screen. Yes, it's a 12A, but you know what? I had speculation going into it. Didn't overly bother me. I get from a marketing standpoint, opens up to a wider audience, get more people in, and that's proven itself in its 40 million box office opening, which is the highest ever in the franchise. So, but yeah, I loved it. I liked the story. I kind of appreciate that he took a risk and went, let's look at it from the Predator's perspective, this like runt of the litter, to go out and try and prove himself. Elle Fanning, I love that woman in anything she does, was great in playing both Tessa and Thea, dual roles, so she was really good. But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
See, now your enthusiasm is making me want to go and have a look at those last two films, which I haven't touched. I mean, the last Predator film that I saw was Alien vs. Predator. And, you know, before that, it was probably Predator 2. I mean, I've not been somebody who watches the series, but for me going into this, my issue with it wasn't that I didn't like the film, because actually I found myself smiling and enjoying it quite a lot. And as you say, Elle Fanning's fantastic. But it was like a teenage sort of coming of age, discovering yourself story, and like for me that wasn't what I wanted from a Predator movie. I felt that you were seeing far too much, and I quite like the idea of the Predator as this sort of mythical beast that's intimidating and held back. You know, like it was showing us too much was my problem, but you're telling me that you love this, and so now I'm kind of like, as somebody who's not as familiar with the franchise, I feel I may need to go back. You know, but it was a kid's film.
I think he sold it to me as well.
He sold it to you as well?
To rewatch it maybe from a different angle.
But it is a kid's film, is it not? It's not, it's not Predator. This is sort of like the teenager easy access version.
I sort of looked at it as like a buddy cop film in a way. Whenever he gets together with Fia, I was smiling myself. I was laughing. But it's not your typical Predator. But I think that's where many fans of the series have the issue with, is because they're like, we want blood and gore and spines ripped out. And you're like,
a little bit.
Well, yeah, I know. I understand.
I mean, there's a bit of that.
I didn't know he's going to have daddy issues.
I mean, don't we all? So, Predator Badlands is watchable, apparently, if you're in the right frame of mind. Let's go on to something else. Look, we sent our cameras down to the Cineworld Belfast to speak with some of the cast and crew of Saipan on the closing night of the Belfast Film Festival. Here's a report.
We're sending them to the place that launched the nuclear bomb.
That's ominous.
Maybe it'll bring you all closer together.
Yes, boys. The work starts now, yeah?
How are you going to manage Roy Keane?
I'm a winner, just like Roy.
We screened the film at Toronto, London Film Festival, but it's great to be back in our hometown. We've been at Cork. We just came from Cork the other day. We also screened it in Bilbao. I went to my first football match in Bilbao. So we've had a bit of a journey with it so far.
A lot of away legs. Now finally back into the home match.
See what you're doing there.
I've got all those football cliches. When the script first came in, it was sent to us by McDara Kelleher, our producer, and in the headline of it, it mentioned that it was a football film, and Lisa shouted from her office into mine, "We're not making a football film. I'm not reading that." And I said, okay, I'll read it anyway, just to be sure. And of course, there's so much more to it than just football.
It's amazing. It's like a Greek tragedy, with very comedic, kind of emphasis. But yeah, there's absurdity to it. But it's about these two characters, both, as we all have, their own flaws, both with very specific points of view, and they're engaged in this slow motion collision toward each other over the course of the story. And I think the kind of pure shape of that drama was one of the really exciting things, and the fact that you have this building pressure cooker the whole time, and it's these two guys on an island far away from home, away from all their support systems, and all of the psychological pressure that's exerted by a country's expectations and the cameras of the world upon them.
Here's Roy Keane.
Is it awake yet? No, the game's changed, and we need to be prepared. We're going out there to work, aren't we?
And to acclimatise. There's been a bit of an issue. I've been promised some things that haven't been delivered.
We don't have footballs.
We can manage without that stuff.
Without footballs.
It'd be better if we had footballs.
I'm in such kind of admiration of athletes in general, and of Roy especially, because I think week in, week out, to put your psyche and your body through, this crucible of pressure in front of thousands and thousands of fans, it's a massive thing. It's enormous, and I guess I tried to approach it. I hope I tried to approach it as he might approach his life as a sort of footballer. I thought the least you can do is try and bring that kind of level of dedication to it. And 5 weeks of doing that was enough for me. 5 weeks is plenty. So I suppose if I was to cling on to one thing, it was that. It was like to just try and sort of commit to that kind of rigor and dedication for the duration of the shoot. And yeah, it was tiring.
Somebody said the other day that filmmaking is a bit like carrying a rock on your shoulders up a mountain, and it starts rolling down, and then you strap it on and walk back up again. And this film was no different, This film came to me through our friends and colleagues at Wild Atlantic in Dublin. McDara Kelleher there had originated the idea. He had brought in the writer, and then he'd approached Dana, and he'd done an awful lot of the work before I came on board. So after Kneecap premiered at Sundance last year, then Mac came to me and said, hey, do you want to get involved in Saipan? And I'm in. Let me read the script. I'm in. We turned Jordanstown pitches to Saipan. You know, miracles happened under these incredible directors and all the crew and the cast, and it was amazing. The most wonderful, wonderful experience.
We feel very proud. It is a real moment to look back at that 25-year anniversary. And one of the things that the festival does brilliantly is to work alongside the local film industry and to really support and showcase all of the filmmakers who come through. I mean, we've been to so many premieres and screenings, not just of our own films, but other Indigenous filmmakers. And we've been lucky enough to come and start making films at a time when the industry in Northern Ireland was just, exploding. And so we've grown up through that, and our times here at the Belfast Film Festival have been really special to us.
We're done. No, we're not done. You don't ever tell me when we're done. I'm just getting started.
You can walk away a hero.
There are no heroes here.
Saipan will be released into cinemas early next year. It's also screening at the upcoming Foyle Film Festival. And let's move on to this week's Pick of the Streams.
Seeking light. I created death.
Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro, back in cinemas briefly, on to Netflix. Anita, I suspect you like this one.
I loved it. I'm trying not to be too excited.
What did you... So for people who... Let's assume that audiences maybe have a passing familiarity with the idea of Frankenstein as a character. What is there to love about this particular version?
It's just a story about this misunderstood creature that just wants to be loved and wants to belong in the world, but his own creator, his own father,
has rejected him.
And he's created them and even when he said, I simply am. For you, I'm just in your eyes, I'm misshapen, but for me, I'm simply am. And he didn't understand why people were scared of him, and it was just, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. It was really beautiful, and I'm a big Del Toro fan since Pan's Labyrinth. He's just like any girl that's obsessed with Gothic horror, and he did Frankenstein justice. Really good adaptation. Mm-hmm. I love Mary Shelley, again a feminist icon, inventor of science fiction. I'm obsessed. I'm going to watch it probably 50 times.
Can we get a nice big close-up of your tears at this point?
No, please don't.
So I'm going to go under the assumption that I knew that each of us only liked 2 films in this selection, and you did like, James, you liked Predator a lot. So I'm assuming that you didn't like Frankenstein, because I've seen it getting quite a mixed reaction from some of my friends.
Oh, how wrong you are.
Oh, you like this as well?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh my gosh, so we're going to argue about the other one. Excellent.
Yeah, it's the other one we're going to have an issue with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, this is fantastic. My only criticism is I didn't get to see it in a cinema, which sucks, because it would have looked amazing. Some of those shots used are just incredible. Mm-hmm. Have never seen an adaptation of Frankenstein before. I've never read the book either. So yes, I'm a bit late to the party in that one as well. But Jacob Elordi is incredible. He conveys such emotion, and just using nothing but facial gestures and features. He only has very little dialogue throughout the film as the creature. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Oscar Isaac, Mia Goth, again incredible. See what happens when you take the Star Wars actors out of Star Wars and put them in a good film. Yeah, that's all I'm saying about that.
Thank you for saying it.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But no, I loved it. I sat down and I sort of felt, will I be able to get through it in one sitting? Because I was sort of a bit tired, and nope, I was straight into it. It gripped me, put me into this dark Gothic world, and and I was there for the ride, and awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. No, I have to say, I enjoyed it. I watched it the other night at home with my partner, and She loved it. She was a bit like you. She very much had that kind of very emotive response to it. So I think there's something with the storyline that is connecting with people on that level. But this isn't a horror film. This is a beautiful Gothic, probably a Gothic romance, really. It's sumptuous, absolutely gorgeous. Some of the lighting choices are maybe a little bit too dreamy for me at times, but actually every set is beautifully designed. The real life locations look stunning. I mean, it made me instantly want to go back to Edinburgh because just Edinburgh always looks fantastic on screen. The performances were, I think, generally pretty solid. I'd just been watching Christopher Waltz and Only Murders in the Building, so to come from that straight into this, I was like, yeah, I like that man, has a bit of range. Oscar Isaac, I quite enjoyed as a Frankenstein. And I mean, I'm someone who's a Frankenstein fan. I've got Frankenstein cinema posters up around the house. Lots of Frankenstein kind of
Boris
creatures everywhere.
Karloff.
I adore Karloff's interpretation. I also think Christopher Lee was amazing in the role. I think it's the same thing that Jacob Elordi does. It's that ability to kind of be almost like a mime, to convey an awful lot with very little. It's very powerful, and I think it comes across very, very well. And it's not a completely accurate retelling of the novel, but it's pretty darn close. It's a story that's been adapted too many times to not do something that kind of is your own stamp on it. Is it a film I'm going to revisit many times? Probably not. And that might be because of its length, because it is quite a lengthy film. But it's definitely a film that I enjoyed whilst watching and would probably recommend to most folks. Now, that means it's time for our physical media of the week. Not DVD of the week, because nobody watches DVDs anymore. This has been re-released on Blu-ray by Arrow in the UK. This is Alex Proyas' 1998 film Dark City, which was a film that I was surprised to see that I hadn't actually watched before, because it's very definitely in my wheelhouse. Rufus Sewell plays John Murdoch, a man who awakens in a strange bathtub in a strange room, only to find out that he is wanted for a series of murders, only he can't remember whether or not he did them. And for a moment, he's convinced that he's gone completely mad. Murdoch seeks to unravel the twisted tale of his identity, and as he edges closer to solving the mystery, he stumbles upon a fiendish underworld controlled by a group of ominous beings collectively known as the Strangers. Let's have a look at it. James, I'm going to go straight to you because you hated this, and I want to fight now.
No, you get outside. Come on, what's it going? No, you see, I gave you just assumed I hated it.
I'm going to hit you with a Super 8.
Yeah, no, it was okay, but yeah, out of our 3 picks, it's definitely the weakest one for me. And I don't know why. This should have been the type of film I love, but I'm like,
Is there nothing you liked about this film?
Not that there is nothing, like the plot's engaging and it keeps you sort of engaged, but it's just, I was just expecting something more, especially for having Kiefer Sutherland and Jennifer Connelly in it, I wanted more, but just was left, just a little bit disappointed. But
Anita, Dark City, what were your thoughts?
Oh, well, I loved it. I watched it ages ago when I was in high school, where I was one of those obnoxious film buffs, like I'm watching movies that no one ever watched. So I watched Dark City when I was 17 or so, and rewatched it the other night. It's really good. It has a really interesting story. The effects, I would say, for that time, 98, still holding up. Rufus Sewell or Sewell, how you pronounce?
Sewell, I think.
Sewell is highly underrated, I need to say, as an actor. Alex Proyas is how would I say? Sometimes a hit and miss director and writer, and David S. Goyer as well, but they did a good thing with The Crow and Blade. But it's a really interesting story, and even Roger Ebert said it's a really brilliant movie, but I think it was overshadowed a year after with The Matrix, with a similar concept.
Well, I mean, I think that's a fair observation, James. I mean, are you a fan of The Matrix?
Oh yeah, that's Matrix is great. Yeah.
And can you see a comparison between the two?
I could sort of weigh them up, but I think The Matrix did it ultimately better.
Because it was machines, not aliens. And I think people were like, oh, aliens seem ridiculous, but machines enslaving us seems realistic.
The machines are technically aliens, though. They're an alien race. They just...
No, in Matrix.
Yeah, like, technically.
No, they were created by us.
I know, but you can look
not
at them
by
as
us,
being
by
alien.
the humans and... Oh, okay.
I got to stop the two arguing. I mean, I think you're right. I think that kind of it was overshadowed by The Matrix. I think there's a lot of similarities. I don't know how I haven't seen this because there's a lot of it that I like. I may have fleetingly seen parts of it. I mean, the cast includes people like Rufus Sewell, William Hurt, Kiefer Sutherland, Jennifer Connelly, Richard O'Brien, which is reason enough for me to watch anything if Richard's in it. And John Bluthal and people like that. There's a lot of folk that growing up I loved watching. And as soon as Jennifer Connelly was on, I hadn't realised that she was in this. And suddenly, you're kind of seeing these allusions to and links back to Labyrinth. I think that, it feels for me very much like it belongs with Terry Gilliam's Brazil and Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. It's that kind of world. It does feel very Terry Gilliam. It is at times a little bit too pacey for me. It cuts maybe too rapidly, especially early on. I feel like there's bits missing. But then considering you're watching a film that's about characters whose lives are literally missing and being reshaped all the time, I wonder, is that a stylistic choice? But overall, I quite enjoyed it.
I wanted to say sometimes it felt a little bit off. I haven't seen it in a while as well, so it seemed off. But it could be that it was a stylistic choice. But it is a really deep philosophical question. Are we in control of our life, or is someone else controlling us?
Yeah.
Can we escape our destiny? What is real, what is not?
We can't convince you to rewatch this, James?
Probably not.
Well, we're going to rewatch Predator Badlands on your recommendation, so I think it's only fair.
Guilt trip me into it. All right, maybe I will.
I will give Predator another chance, and I need to watch the animated one as
do.
well.
Yes, you do.
If you rewatch Dark City.
All right, that's a deal. Okay.
And watch it from a philosophical standpoint.
It's democracy in action. Who says film doesn't bring us all together in a nice way? I think that's everything for this week, unless there's any other last-minute thoughts that are entering your heads for anything we've watched or anything you're excited about.
Heat 30th anniversary is in Cineworld Wednesday, November 26th.
That's a good one.
Great film.
So thank you very much, James. Thank you very much, Anita. I imagine
Thank you.
Next time you're here, Jim will be back on this seat. As much as I've kept it warm for him, I think he'll be back in it before I am. Sadly, it's very comfortable, It's much nicer than the old chair.
I wouldn't know.
No, one day, Anita, one day. Until the next time.
Bye.